Have you ever spent years chasing something you thought would make you happy, only to realize that when you finally got it, it didn't feel the way you expected? I've been there. At 70, I found myself looking back at my life, thinking I had checked all the boxes: career success, financial stability, family, but still, there was this quiet sense that something was missing. And that's when I started to question what happiness really is. For a long time, I assumed happiness was tied to achievement. I thought if I reached a certain milestone, earned a certain amount of money, or gained recognition, I would finally feel fulfilled. But the truth is, those things brought only temporary satisfaction. The joy faded, and I was left searching for the next big thing to feel complete. It's a feeling I'm sure many of you can relate to, especially as we get older and start reflecting on the paths we've taken. This video is about the journey of understanding happiness differently. I want to share what I've learned over the past few years, the small but powerful shifts that changed my perspective, and practical ways you can experience a deeper sense of contentment no matter your age. This isn't about self-help cliches or abstract philosophy. It's about real, tangible habits and mindset shifts that you can start today. Let's begin with the first realization that changed everything. Happiness isn't something to chase externally, it's cultivated internally. I used to think that if I had more, did more, or achieved more, happiness would naturally follow. But what I discovered is that no external circumstance can create lasting happiness. That contentment we crave comes from within, from how we perceive and respond to life itself. One simple practice I adopted was mindful reflection. Each evening, I would take a few minutes to acknowledge 3 things I genuinely appreciated that day, no matter how small. It could be a friendly conversation with a neighbor, a walk in the park, or simply savoring a good cup of tea. Over time, this habit rewired my brain to notice the positive moments I used to overlook. The second shift I noticed was learning to let go of comparisons. For decades, I measured my life against the lives of others, friends, colleagues, or even strangers on social media. It was exhausting. I realized that measuring my worth against someone else's story only led to frustration and a sense of inadequacy. The moment I stopped comparing, I discovered freedom. I could celebrate my own achievements and joys without feeling pressured by someone else's standards. A practical step I took was limiting time spent scrolling through news feeds and social media in the evenings. Instead, I focused on activities that brought me genuine pleasure and satisfaction, like reading, gardening, or calling an old friend. Another powerful insight came from embracing simplicity. For many years, I associated happiness with complexity, planning big vacations, accumulating things, or orchestrating elaborate experiences. But in reality, simplicity brought more peace. I started taking walks without a destination, enjoying quiet moments in my home, and appreciating the small rituals of daily life. These simple pleasures, watching a sunset, tending to my plants, or listening to my favorite music, became the foundation of my happiness. It's funny how we often overlook the ordinary, yet those ordinary moments hold extraordinary value once we pay attention. And finally, I realized that relationships and connection matter more than achievement. It's not about the number of friends or followers, but the quality of interactions. Meaningful conversations, acts of kindness, and time spent with loved ones created warmth and joy that no accomplishment ever could. I made a conscious effort to nurture these connections, whether it was calling my children, writing letters to friends, or volunteering in my community. The fulfillment from these experiences was profound, and I understood that happiness is often found in giving, rather than receiving. These realizations, mindful appreciation, letting go of comparisons, embracing simplicity, and fostering meaningful relationships, formed the beginning of a journey that completely changed my understanding of happiness. I can honestly say that I feel lighter, more present, and more at peace than I ever expected at this stage of life. Now that we've explored these first important shifts, we can move deeper into the practical steps and daily habits that have made happiness a living, breathing part of my life rather than just an abstract idea. In the next section, I'll share the middle steps, the routines, mindset exercises, and small actions that reinforce these insights every day and help sustain a genuine sense of joy and fulfillment. And feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now that we've explored the initial realizations about happiness, not chasing it externally, letting go of comparisons, embracing simplicity, and nurturing meaningful relationships, let's dive into the middle steps, the daily habits and mindset exercises that have made these insights real in my life. These aren't complicated rituals or time-consuming practices. They're simple, consistent actions that anyone can start today, no matter your age. The first habit that truly transformed my outlook was starting each day with intention. Instead of letting the day be dictated by routines or obligations, I began asking myself, what would make today meaningful? Some days, the answer was small, reading a few pages of a book, enjoying a morning coffee on the porch, or calling a friend. On other days, it was bigger, like helping a neighbor or volunteering at a community center. Setting an intention shifted my focus from what I lacked to what I could contribute or experience, and that shift created a sense of purpose that feeds happiness in a way achievements alone never did. Closely tied to this is the practice of mindful presence. I noticed that so much of our unhappiness comes from living either in the past or worrying about the future. When I was younger, I often dwelled on regrets or stressed about what was coming next. Now, I make a conscious effort to stay present. During meals, I savor every bite. During conversations, I listen fully without thinking about my response or distractions. During walks, I notice the colors of the leaves, the sound of birds, or the warmth of the sun. Mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation. It can be as simple as giving your full attention to one small activity. And the effect is profound. It slows down time, reduces stress, and allows you to fully experience the joy that's already there. Another key step was embracing gratitude beyond the obvious. In the first part, I mentioned acknowledging small things daily, but I've since learned to dig deeper. It's not just about being thankful for a sunny day or a warm meal. It's about appreciating challenges, lessons learned, and even the mundane moments that shape our lives. For instance, I now find joy in remembering mistakes that taught me resilience, and recognizing the patience I've developed over the years, or in valuing my body's ability to carry me through each day. This expanded gratitude transforms ordinary experiences into sources of happiness because it allows us to see life's richness in ways we might have previously overlooked. A fourth habit that reinforced these practices was creating moments of connection. As we age, it's easy to become isolated, whether due to mobility, distance, or life circumstances. I realized that happiness flourishes in connection. It doesn't matter whether it's a long conversation with a family member, a simple hello to a neighbor, or sharing a story with a friend. The key is authenticity. I started scheduling short, meaningful interactions daily, sometimes just a quick call, sometimes a visit with someone who might need company. These moments remind me that life is richer when shared, and the warmth generated by genuine connection is one of the deepest sources of happiness I've discovered. Next, I focused on curating my environment to support happiness. This isn't about fancy decor or expensive items, but about creating a space that encourages calm, inspiration, and joy. I surround myself with things that spark positive memories, like family photos, books that inspire me, or mementos from travels that brought me joy. I also minimize clutter and distractions that drain energy. When my surroundings reflect what I value and love, I find it easier to stay centered, calm, and happy throughout the day. Alongside these daily habits, I began practicing acts of kindness without expectation. Volunteering, helping a neighbor, or simply offering a smile can seem small, but they have a profound effect on the giver as well as the receiver. I noticed that when I act with generosity and compassion, I feel lighter, more fulfilled, and more connected to the world around me. These actions create ripple effects. One kind act often leads to another, and over time, they weave a network of positive energy that sustains happiness. Finally, I embraced the idea that personal growth and curiosity never end. Even at 70, I've discovered that learning new things, exploring new ideas, or trying new experiences keeps life vibrant. Happiness isn't stagnant. It thrives when we challenge ourselves, expand our horizons, and continue to engage with the world. Whether it's taking a painting class, learning to cook a new recipe, or reading about topics I've never explored before, this continuous engagement adds richness and meaning to each day. By integrating these middle steps, setting daily intentions, practicing mindful presence, cultivating deep gratitude, creating authentic connections, curating supportive environments, performing acts of kindness, and embracing lifelong learning, I found that happiness became not just a fleeting feeling, but a steady, enduring part of life. It's not dependent on circumstances, wealth, or recognition. It's rooted in daily choices and small, meaningful actions. These practices, when combined with the foundational realizations we discussed earlier, create a lifestyle where happiness grows naturally, almost effortlessly. In the next section, we'll cover the final insights and wrap up with a reminder of how even small changes can make a profound difference in your sense of contentment and fulfillment as you move through life. Now that we've explored the foundational realizations and the daily habits that have shaped my happiness, let's look at the final insights, those subtle, yet powerful truths that really cement a lasting sense of joy. These are the ideas that have allowed me to feel peaceful, fulfilled, and genuinely content at 70, and I hope they resonate with you as well. One of the most important realizations is that happiness is a practice, not a destination. For much of my life, I thought happiness was something I would find once I achieved certain goals or reached certain milestones. I assumed that if I had the right job, enough money, or the perfect circumstances, then I could finally feel happy. What I discovered, however, is that happiness isn't a place we arrive at, it's a way we live each day. It's found in the choices we make, the attention we give to the present moment, and the care we show to ourselves and others. Understanding this transformed the way I approach life. I don't wait for joy to appear magically, I cultivate it intentionally, in small ways, every day. Another key insight is learning to accept life as it is, not as we wish it were. As we age, it's natural to reflect on regrets, lost opportunities, or moments we wish we could change. I used to dwell on these what-ifs and let them steal my peace. But over time, I realized that acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality without resistance and choosing how to respond positively. I found peace when I embraced my limitations, forgave past mistakes, and focused on what I could influence today. This acceptance created a deep, enduring contentment, and it freed me from the burden of unnecessary stress and disappointment. A third insight is finding joy in the little things. Happiness is often thought of as big, dramatic, or life-altering experiences, but the truth is that most lasting joy comes from small, everyday moments. A quiet morning with a cup of tea, a good laugh with a friend, watching the sunlight filter through the trees, these are the moments that accumulate into a life rich with satisfaction. I began keeping a simple journal where I jot down these small joys each day. This habit helped me notice beauty and happiness even during ordinary routines, and it reminded me that life's richness is always present if we choose to see it. I also learned the profound importance of forgiveness and letting go. Holding on to grudges, regrets, or resentment can weigh heavily on the spirit, especially as we grow older. I realized that forgiving others, and myself, was not about excusing mistakes but about releasing the burden and freeing space for happiness. When I let go of old grievances and resentments, I felt lighter, calmer, and more open to positive experiences. Forgiveness became a key tool in maintaining emotional well-being and inner peace. Finally, I embraced the idea that giving back and helping others is a source of true happiness. Many people assume that happiness comes from acquiring or achieving, but one of the most fulfilling practices I discovered is offering support, kindness, and care to those around me. Whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering, or simply offering a listening ear, these acts create a sense of connection and purpose that nothing else can replicate. I found that the more I gave, the more joy I felt, not in a transactional way, but in a deeply human and nourishing way. As I reflect on all these lessons, I see that happiness is not tied to wealth, status, or even perfect circumstances. It comes from awareness, intentional choices, and a commitment to living fully in the present moment. By embracing mindfulness, gratitude, meaningful relationships, acceptance, forgiveness, and acts of kindness, we can create a life that is truly fulfilling, no matter our age. I want to leave you with a gentle reminder: it's never too late to shift your perspective, change your habits, and invite more happiness into your life. Small, consistent steps create lasting results, and the journey itself can be joyful if we approach it with openness and curiosity. Life after 60 and beyond can be rich, meaningful, and surprisingly joyful when we focus on what really matters. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What practices or realizations have helped you find happiness in your life? Sharing your experiences can inspire others and create a community of support and encouragement. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more insights and practical advice on living a fulfilling life at any age. Remember, happiness isn't about chasing perfection or meeting external expectations. It's about embracing the present, cultivating gratitude, nurturing relationships, and living intentionally. Here's to creating a life filled with joy, peace, and purpose, no matter how many birthdays you've celebrated. Your best days can still be ahead, and every day offers a new opportunity to discover the happiness that's been within you all.